Scream. This question comes from Stephen Copley of Juke.gg. Europe has been one of, if not the most up in the air regions. Lots of teams winning or competing for those top spots. Do you think it's just players and teams figuring out their play style or something else that's caused such varied results?
I didn't get the question.
Europe has been one of, if not the most up in the air regions. Lots of teams winning or competing for those top spots. Do you think it's just players and teams figuring out their play style, or is something else that's caused such varied results?
I think it's still a new game. Things have to develop still. Like the tactics are very new. I think the meta is still gonna evolve a lot. I think right now, like every team is in this position where, like, as I said, this is the beginning of the game. Like no one is really good right now. Like in my opinion, no one is really good right now to dominate the whole scene. So anyone can win this tournament, like, and anyone could qualify as well. So,
thank you. This next question is from Shazam. For Shazam, it's coming from Stephen Cropley of Juke.gg. Prior to heading to Iceland, many players had been asked if they'd been studying other regions, and the vast majority said no. How much time since then has been spent focusing on those teams now?
Yeah, I mean, while we're playing like within our region, there wasn't a whole lot of time to like really take note of other teams. Like we would watch the matches, but there's really no point until we're going to compete against them to prepare to play against these styles. But thankfully, like we finally had like a down period from like constant games to actually take a look at all the different regions and come up with ways to play around them. I feel like this game sometimes feels like inconsistent. Like, you know, people are different winning against different matchups because it's really all about how like play styles match up, and you just have to like adapt and reinvent yourself depending on the team you're playing. So that's like all the preparation for a tournament like this.
Thank you. This next question is for Vanity from Ryan Horton of Ryan Central. There's a lot of preconceived notions on how each region plays, like EU is much more structured, Brazil will be super aggressive. From scrimming and interacting with the other regions, how would you describe the other regions' play styles?
I think all the regions we've played here, at least in like the local scrims and online scrims, all the regions play relatively similar. It just feels like the North American teams we haven't scrimmed the Brazilians very much, but the North American teams and the European teams play the same exact style. Like it's just default heavy, but the Europeans do it a little bit slower. Like I'd say the Americans are probably taking map control like 15 seconds faster, but like I wouldn't say the utility difference in American Valorant and European is very much. So like in Europe, it's just people playing, they play for kills, they play to like molly the bomb. It's the same thing in North America. And I think that the notion that the Europeans' utility is just way better is just not true.
This next question is from Boaster, also from Ryan Horton of Ryan Central. There's an obvious point where Fnatic found amazing form to qualify with the addition of Durkee and Magnum. Since then, you've not lost a BO3. What would you say to those that think this great run you're on is just a honeymoon period after Durkee and Magnum came in?
First of all, thank you for the question. What do I think about Durkee and Magnum and it's a honeymoon period? I don't think it's a honeymoon period. I think we had the basics down and the fundamentals down. Bringing in Durkee and Magnum was the firepower we needed, and with the leadership and with the coach mini and with all of our stuff that we have, there's a reason why we're here, and it's because we're pretty good at the game. We're not bad, and we're looking forward to playing all these teams here and showing what we got.
Nice. This next question is for Sadak. This is from Yinsu Collins of Upcomer. A lot of teams and players have been surprised with how strong you guys are since arriving in Iceland and scrimming against you. Are there any teams or players that surprised you and you feel will be your biggest threat in the tournament?
I think every team has its strength, right? We try to play our game. Every player in every team is really strong, even stronger than they appear in video, right? So yeah, I think that everyone is playing really well. We were kind of surprised about the slow play they have here. We are used to a more aggressive play style, right? Just rounds in 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And now in Europe, just like 30 seconds, right? Yeah, that's really interesting.
Thank you. This next question is for Vanity from Jessica Sharnagel of Nerd Street Gamers. How do you think playing on LAN will affect player performance in the tournament?
I think given even if a lot of these players have played online before, I think just given the stage it's on, it's the first international event for Valorant, there's going to be nerves across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how high of a level you competed on. Yeah, the people that have competed at a higher level probably will have more of an advantage at first, or later on in the tournament. But I think in the beginning, everyone's just going to have like the beginning of the nerves. But I don't think it'll affect the level of play very much.
This next question is for Boaster from Yinsu Collins of Upcomer. We've seen such a dramatic shift into the Viper and Astra meta, and we'll expect all of the teams to showcase what they've been working on. However, you're one of the teams that have stuck with Brimstone on Bind despite Astra being introduced. Why is this? What are the strengths and weaknesses of both agents on Bind?
First of all, thank you for the question. The reason why we're sticking with Brimstone, I'd say, is because I saw that people were saying like, why is I don't get why EU is playing Astra not playing Astra so much. But I think the reason why we stick with Brimstone is because, firstly, I love playing Brimstone. It's kind of fun, and I guess that kind of helps with the overall. Because I'm the IGL, I come up with the stats, whatnot. So that kind of overall improves our T side and whatnot. Astra, yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, you got the cross map, you got all that, like, stars and whatnot. But I don't think she's needed. I think Astra is. I think her ulti is just useless. Like, I don't see it being very good whatsoever. So why rock an Astra? Like with you got the sucks, but like man's already past the sucks by the time that you're using them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we use Brimstone. I think he's cooler. His smokes are better. I like him. Molly, that's it.
Nice. This next question is for Scream. What is the biggest weakness in North America's approach to Valorant? And this question is from Andy Williams of Deserto.
It's a tough one. I think as Vanity said, like Europe and America have kind of the game style. But I do think Europe is a bit better. Like, I think obviously the Sentinels have like amazing players individually, but I feel like what they do is very predictable compared to Europe, and I think that's gonna be the biggest difference between these two regions.
Can I respond to that? The team you saw in Masters 1 and the team you saw in Regional Finals is a different team from the team you'll see here. So
you'll do nothing.
This next question is for Sadak from Josh Wilkinson of Platchat. Which top teams do you think you match up the best against?
We match up against.
Which teams do you match up the best against?
I mean, we haven't played against every team here because they don't want to scream us, most of them. So it's a tough question to answer. But yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you. This next question is for Boaster. It comes from Josh Wilkinson of Platchat. Your players are fairly inexperienced in huge events like this. How are you making sure that your guys perform at their best at LAN?
First of all, thank you for the question. How do I think they're going to perform at LAN? Yeah, I have no worries about how the players are going to perform at LAN. I think we've come this far, and I think it's just a matter of just enjoying the whole moment. Like, it doesn't matter win or lose. Like, we're at Riot's first ever international event. We're here to enjoy it. We're here to have fun. We're here to we get to see all these other teams as well, which is like really cool because like some big names next to me right now, and I'm just sitting here chilling, like loving life. But yeah, I'd say, doesn't matter. Like, whatever happens. We deal with it. But we're coming into this game. We've been practicing quite hard. Hopefully we're consistent, and we're gonna go on that stage and just try to give the best that we can do, and that's all we can. Yeah, that's it, man.
Thank you. This next question is for Scream. It comes from Andy Williams of Deserto. Do you think teams that have played on LAN to reach Reykjavik have an advantage coming into Stage 2 Masters?
But I think teams that play on LAN
that have experience playing on LAN.
Yeah, I do think so. I do think players that have like a big career, like on CS, for example, that have been playing a lot of events, have a good advantage on LAN. obviously because they have the experience. That's it. And the new player are gonna be under pressure. It's gonna, as Valentin said as well, it's gonna be the first event, Valorant biggest event. So I don't know, like I'm kind of nervous as well, but I know I have the experience and I'm gonna back it up and I'm gonna make my team comfortable.
This next
I never thought I'd hear Scream say he's nervous. That's it, man.
This next question is for Shazam. It comes from Yinsu Collins of Upcomer. NA hasn't seen much success in esports on the international stage as of late, meaning a lot of their fans and analysts are seeing you guys as one of their biggest hopes and are expecting you to win Masters too. Do you feel that pressure, and do you think you guys could be the poster boys for NA success this time around?
We definitely feel the pressure, I guess. If there's any team to represent NA, it's probably us. We've been probably the most consistent over the last year. But that's kind of been the story going into like a lot of these tournaments for us, that we were probably the favorites to win the tournaments, and I think we still produced results. So like I feel really comfortable with the level we're at, with the stuff we prepared. Honestly, we're definitely in a position to win. It's about us showing up on match day. And so we'll take that support and hopefully people continue to believe in us.
This next question is for Vanity. It comes from Jessica Sharnagel of Nerd Street Gamers. What were some of the biggest changes you made in preparing for this competition compared to your regional tournaments?
I mean, we have a stand-in, so obviously our preparation is going to be a little different. You have to kind of try to get the player acclimated. I think that's probably like the biggest hurdle we'll have to overcome throughout the tournament. I think we've done a good job at it so far, but I mean, we'll never know until we actually get on the stage and play the matches. But during practice, everything's been going well, and I think we'll be okay. Our prep hasn't really changed much. I'll watch some VODs here and there, but I don't think the VODs that we're going to watch of these teams from 2 months ago or whenever the regional finals was going to have very much impact on how the teams are going to play going into this tournament, because most of the teams are going to have a lot of things change about their game style.
This next question is for Boaster. It comes from Josh Wilkinson of Platchat. What lessons did you take away from the loss in Challengers Finals to Liquid? After losing on Icebox and Split, compared to the previous time, has work been done on your map pool?
First of all, thank you for the question. I'd say, yeah, I mean, people comment on our map pool quite a lot and saying it's like not that strong. I'd say, yeah, we've had little bit of inconsistencies here and there. Yeah, we shouldn't have lost to Liquid on Icebox, but they read us quite well and they did really well, like going in with the entries and kind of I was going to say big D in it, but like I'll do that instead. Yeah, I think we've brushed up. We've had 2 weeks now, which 2 weeks isn't long, like, or 3 weeks, I'm not sure, but it kind of is flown by. But I'd say we've brushed up on pretty much everything now, and like we're looking forward to playing Liquid again if we get the opportunity. That is if they don't meet Vikings first. See ya. And yeah, I'd say a joke.
You gotta meet them first, I think.
Oh damn. Yeah, I'd say I've lost my train of thought, but hopefully I've answered it pretty well. Thanks.
This next question is for Sadak. How would you describe your play style, and how does that differ from other major regions such as NA and EU?
I think our playstyle is really good against aggressive teams, right? And now we're transitioning to play really well against slow teams. So one of our strengths is the adaptability we have. So yeah, it's actually really surprising how teams play here. Like it's really, really different, and we are learning from them. Yeah.
This next question comes from Josh Wilkinson of Platchat. It's for Scream. After EC1S left the team, what was the process of finding a new in-game leader? Can you describe how the calling works on Liquid now with Soulcast and yourself?
Yeah, we have had problems with Eccles, with Liquid, because like he was taking over the calls a lot. But I think in Valorant, like we need 5 brains to work. We need consistently like thinking solutions all the time. Obviously, we don't have a set in-game leader, but I try bringing my experience. I have a good vision of the game as well. Soulcast is doing kind of the same as well. So we have a good mix of like just working, adapting to the game, and obviously we have amazing strats as well. mix it up. But as I said, we don't have in-game leader, but we don't need it. We just have like 5 amazing aimers, 5 amazing players. We have one of the best operator in the game right now, I think. So yeah, I think we are really ready for it.
This next question is for Shazam. It also comes from Josh from PlatChat. As one of the most respected in-game leaders in the game, what's your feeling on how easy counter strats are going to be in the opening rounds? Do you expect teams to run brand new compositions, strategies, and set plays?
Yeah, I think there's going to be teams changing up their comps a lot from when they last played, as well as everything they're doing. I highly doubt any team is going to come into this tournament doing the same stuff they did in the regional finals or the qualifiers, because that would make absolutely no sense. So I feel like this is just going to be a test of matchups and who brings their best game and who can adapt and adjust mid game in these opening matchups for sure, more so than like preparation and counter stratting. You know, teams will do their homework and players will have their tendencies, but I expect teams to reinvent themselves.
This next question is for Vanity. It comes from Ryan Horton of Ryan Central. Obviously, being a lot of talks on scrimbucks and expected performances based off those results alone. From playing, interacting with the other teams, which team has exceeded your expectations the most?
I'm assuming you meant exceeded, right?
Exceeded, yes.
I don't think we've been completely blown away by any of the teams we've scrimmed online here. We haven't scrimmed like any of like I think the best team we've scrimmed is Vikings. I think they're the best team we've practiced against so far, but we haven't scrimmed against Sentinels, Fnatic, or Liquid. So I mean, none of them have really blown us away, but I think Vikings is definitely the best team we've practiced against, and they'll probably do really well throughout the tournament.
This next question is for Boaster. It comes from Yinsu Collins of Upcomer. Some of the teams outside your regions have confessed to being inspired by your strats and compositions. How difficult is it to anti-strat your own stuff, knowing that you'll inevitably have to play into teams that will use your own strats against you?
First of all, thank you for the question. Yeah, I think in terms of some maps, I guess our comps have inspired other teams to run similar ones or slight variants. I think in terms of Valorant, we've been quite creative in that kind of aspect. In terms of how I would go about anti-stratting those that have the same comps or the same play styles as us, well, I know the weaknesses of our comp and I know the weaknesses of certain agents and whatnot. Well, I don't know all the weaknesses. I'm not that great, but one day maybe that'd be quite nice. No, I'd say, yeah, we're going to play our own game. And if I see any reads or if I feel it out the map and whatnot, and yeah, I'm watch some VODs, you know, yeah, sorry, I've screwed that one up. Yeah, it was good start.
This next question is going to be for Scream from Josh Wilkinson of PlatChat. What do you see as Liquid's biggest competition on your side of the bracket?
I don't even know who we play. We're just gonna destroy everybody.
This next question is for Vanity. It comes from Josh from PlatChat as well. How does Jammies differ from Whippy?
I think Whippy is a more aggressive lurker than what we have in Jammies. I think Jammies is more of a passive type player, which I think kind of hinders us a little bit because we were not reliant, but I think Whippy created a lot of space and gave us a lot of information on the weaker sides of the map typically. But I do think that Jammies is really strong on defense, and I think that's something that'll benefit us throughout this. I think they're both really strong on defense, but I think Jammies is a lot better at holding sites like on the agent he's playing currently.
This question is for Shazam. It comes from Jingyu Yang of Valorant Spike in China. What are the differences when you play on the EU server, like the playstyle and people's communications?
Is this talking about like scrimmages or?
Either scrimmages or online play.
EU playstyle is definitely really slow. I mean, NA teams default like that, but I think EU teams are really slow as well. Maybe, I mean, even slower. So sometimes we just need to have like patience with our team to not like feed into them waiting for us. And then ranked, it's, I guess ranked. I don't know. My experiences with ranked is like people are kind of just doing their own thing. I'm sure like people aren't comfortable all speaking English constantly, so that might contribute. In NA ranked, it's like a lot of people talking all the time, and I mean people do their own stuff, but sometimes people try to work together. But yeah, I guess that would be the biggest difference.
This next question is for Sadak. It comes from Wesley Pereira of the Clutch Esports in Brazil. How is the mood on the Vikings squad for their Masters debut?
I mean, what's our mood when we play the first game? How
What's
it's
the
gonna
mood
be?
on the team right now heading into the event and in the practice sessions?
Oh, I see. We're chilling, right? We're just really relaxed. We know it's not gonna be a easy match, but yeah, we're feeling it. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses. We're studying the other team, so yeah, we're feeling pretty good.
This next question is from Scream. It comes from Lawrence Phillips of Esports GG in the UK. Following Stage 2 Challengers 1, Team Liquid has been exponentially improving. What changes were made to allow for this quick turnaround and produce results straight away?
Well, when we got jumpy, we went into the qualifier, the first qualifier instantly without any practice. So we had to find ourselves. But just after that qualifier, like everything went like smooth. Like we just feeling ourselves. Like as I said, jump is one of the best upper, if not the best. So it helps us a lot. We are feeling it. Like we're feeling comfortable with him. So everything is fine.
This next question is for Shazam. It also comes from Lawrence Phillips of esports.gg. FaZe Zachary mentioned after your grand finals and stage 1 masters that Sentinel's intel gathering is better than any other team. How much will it help you in Masters Reykjavik? What would you do to attribute this? What would you attribute the straight in your team to?
Yeah, I think that's one of our biggest strengths is being able to play around and people's communication and like relaying information to me about how the other team is playing and how we just put together a plan to approach around is pretty much like the core of like us adapting. Is I feel like we're really good at playing for intel while not giving up any kills, as well as info starving the other team if we need to, and then making a play off of that. And like that's kind of been like the core of this game is like people change stuff up all the time. Like no team's running the same setup over and over, and so you're constantly trying to read how the team's playing and adapt.
This next question is for Sadak. It comes from Victor Hugo Barbosa from Mais Esports. Team Vikings will debut in Masters Reykjavik against X10 Esports. What are your expectations?
I think we are going to win, of course. As I said before, it's not going to be an easy match, but we are really trusting ourselves in this one. So it should be 2-0 from our end, but we don't know. Could be anything.
This next question is for Shazam. It comes from Aaron Alford of Invent Global in the United States. Can we expect the same level of aggression that we have witnessed from your team so far, or are there some surprises up your sleeves for this tournament?
I guess yeah. Like we made it a point that we're gonna change things up obviously from before, but we don't want to lose like our team's identity as well. Like we want to play our style and see how it matches up against these teams. And despite the small changes here and there, it's been pretty well in prac. So you'll definitely see the same mix of Sentinel's aggression as well as slow play.
This next question is for Scream, comes from Josh from PlatChat. Your team had a unique view on the smokes meta, running Brimstone on maps like Haven and Split, where almost nobody else does. Do you think that the other teams are wrong for focusing on Astra so much?
I think Astra is definitely overrated. I think it's good, but it's not that good as people say. And I think we are really good with Brimstone. We know how to use it. Brimstone is a really good agent as well if you know how to use it. So we don't need Astra for now. And I think Astra it needs some time to get used to this agent as well. And we just didn't feel playing this agent. Like no one in our team felt playing this agent. So we just kept playing Brimstone, Omen. Very basic, but it's working good.
Thank you to the players for your participation today. Masters Reykjavik will begin on Monday, May 24th at 8 a.m. Pacific.